Yes, hello everyone. Welcome to this brand new video on my channel. And in this one, we're going to be getting straight into an intraday model that is very, very effective. Now, this is something that, I've seen over time and throughout my journey of smart money concepts. It's something that I've implemented, especially when you do see it. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that almost every day or, every week you might get this, but every once in a while when it does form, very, very effective. Now, of course, for you guys that are following me or have been following me for quite a while, there's two ways that I look at the market. You've got the fundamental direction and then the technical analysis as well. Always, I keep fundamental direction in mind, especially when picking out my high time frame points of interest. And then simply all it is for me to get into that direction using smart money concepts. Now, in this case, it's an intraday model. So pretty much by the end of the video, we're going to be getting into how I got through this trade. Eventually, I took most of my take profit at around 1 to 8. I was hoping for the 1 to 10 at the end. But I mean, 1 to 8, 1 to 10, whatever it is good enough. I can tell you that. So, what I'm going to do, I'm pretty much going to break it down from the beginning. So let's start. This is what the end result looks like, and then how do we actually start from it? So again, always start from the higher time frame. This is always what I do on a weekly time frame. Not weekly time frame, but a weekly basis. I always go through with my students through technical analysis, fundamentals direction as well. And then I start to look for entry points, later on in the week when we do get into these point of interest. Now, when we got into the sell, it was around this region right here. So what we're going to do, we're going to take it from the Sunday just before that. So if we're looking at the 20th of July, the Sunday, 17th. And I can scroll back through my weekly analysis that I send into the group. But this was the area that we had marked up, and I believe this one over here as well. So these were the two areas that I was looking at mainly. Now, the reason is because these are basically two levels of supply that have still been untapped. Fundamentally, we're still looking for Euro USD sells, or at the time we were, especially. In terms of other things as well, fill in this imbalance that we've got just above this zone right here. As soon as price fills this imbalance right here, any level of supply that's just above it that's untapped is going to be very sensitive. So that's the area that I was looking at. So let's get into it a bit deeper. When we look at it on the 30-minute, as you can see, so this level of supply completely failed. We didn't get a confirmation. Obviously, you can see we didn't break structure completely to the downside, and plus timing was off as well. So I didn't personally look to enter then. But once we got to this order block right here, as soon as we got there, I started to analyze it. So let's go down to the 5-minute time frame, because that's the time frame that's most relevant here. Okay, so what started to happen? As soon as price started to buy up to this zone right here, of course, we were interested in sells. Now, personally, I usually like to confirm my trades. Of course, there's times where it might be very clean and I go for a straight limit. In this case, as you can see, even on the higher time frame, there was a massive level of imbalance just above it. So personally, when an order block or a level of supply looks a bit more risky, I don't really want to be entering an entry limit straight away. I want to confirm it a bit more. So let's see what happened. As soon as we started to get there, so let's just say we've mitigated this area right here. This for me, as soon as we start to break these levels right here, as soon as we start to clearly break that level, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to look for sells, right? Now, in terms of what actually happened, there was a buildup of liquidity on the upside, as you can see right here. Then to the downside as well, as we started to get more and more into this range, personally, I don't like to look for any entries within this range right here. So anywhere from the top to the bottom of that range, I really don't want to be entering anything at that moment. What usually happens within this consolidation, within this intraday consolidation, is it's a lot more risky if you want to be looking for order blocks. The only order block I can really kind of see that's unmitigated over here, this order flow to the downside is very clean. Only one I could really see in that region is this order block right here. And we got a tiny reaction. But again, it's that thing of there's nothing clean in the market at that moment in time. So what I really do want to wait for is either a break to the upside and then completely break past that level of supply, or completely break to the downside and then we look to enter. And what happened? price induced this this liquidity to the upside that we had, this trendline liquidity. And what happened? It still remained within our higher time frame level of supply. So it still remained within this region. Okay, so let's go back to it. Now, we know this level of supply has still been respected. It's still not broken past it completely and then continue to buy upwards. Technically, we still can look for sells, but personally, I wouldn't enter on anything just above this inducement. It's a bit too risky for myself. What I'd rather wait for is a complete break of this structure down here. And that's exactly what we started to get. We started to get this, I would say, equal low, because really and truly, it didn't even break the whole structure. So personally, I still wasn't even looking for any sells. Some traders might take it a bit more risky, and they might look to enter, for example, from here. They would put their sell limit as soon as we get that equal low. Just one sec. They'll put their sell limit as soon as we get that equal low, and then enter on something like this. Let's just say up until this imbalance, 1 to 5, and then obviously for later on, you're going to be looking down here for like a 1 to 10 or whatever it may be. Personally, as I said, I wasn't looking for it just because I wanted a clean break of structure, or change of character, as many people would call it. And what happened? As soon as we started to get this clear break to the downside, now what I'm waiting for is, okay, we've got our confirmations for this intraday sell model. We've got this consolidation right here, manipulation of that consolidation, and then as soon as we started to get a clear sort of vision of what's actually going on, as soon as we started to get this break out of this consolidation or out of this range, now we can start to look for more continued sells, because we've respected the 1 hour time frame, we've respected the 5-minute break of structure to the downside or change of character. Now all we're going to be looking for is an actual entry, and this is exactly how I got into it. Looking on the 5-minute time frame, remember, timing is very important. Now, many of you guys know that I like to trade, during London session and New York session, but there's a nice time between London and New York where there's an overlap. The few hours within that overlap is really the best time of the day that you want to trade. And for me, that acts as one of my confirmations, one of many. I've always got fundamental direction to look at and everything like that. But this is the area that I was looking at. Price has to fill this imbalance right here, as you can see. And then what's left is this unmitigated order block that I was looking at. So at times, I may look at an entry like this from the wick, but in this scenario, I was looking at the order block, stop loss just above here, and then entry just like that, about 10 pips or so. And then, of course, if we do look at the dates as well, when was that? Around 1:30 to 2 o'clock, around that time. And it was on the 20th of July. So let's see what day that is within the week. 20th, so that's a Wednesday. So you can kind of see how this all fits together. A range of confirmations here and there. And then, of course, in terms of take profit, first level of take profit would have been this low right here. Second level, I believe I aimed for this potential order block that could reverse structure completely. And then the third one down here completely, when we are looking on the high time frame, let's just say 30-minute. This order block right here does look quite nice to potentially buy up from. So that's the way that I use this model pretty much. It's respecting fundamentals, respecting technicals as well, and then obviously getting into the charts. Of course, guys, all of this knowledge and everything is something that you can definitely work on. Whenever you're looking into the market, definitely look into it. And of course, if you guys need a bit more of my guidance, whatever, never hesitate to reach out on Instagram. I'm always open to taking the DMs and stuff. I do Q&As from time to time as well, so definitely follow up there. And apart from that, if you are interested in joining my group and everything, obviously in the Discord, we're always active with entries and everything. Communities always got their entries, analysis, everything like that, on a weekly basis as well. I'm always hosting calls, and whenever I do enter the market, always sending it into the entries channel. So that's pretty much it, guys. If you are interested, Obviously, all links in the description to join up. Got two packages, the one that explains fundamentals and then the one that explains just technicals as well. But yeah, you know the way I trade, it's fundamentals and technicals. But yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much it. I wish you all the best and take care. I'll see you in the next video.